Okay, you're welcome once again to this uh, training on digital operational resilience testing. My name is Akinwale, and I'll be sharing with you on the Digital Operational Resilience Act, DORA, which will be taking effect from 17 January 2025. I call DORA a basket or a combo of standards. Okay, so you can see uh so many frameworks, so many standards, so many requirements all combined into one complex standard or regulation in DORA, which is of course good for the financial entities. If you look at the Article 2, rather, Article 2 of DORA is on scope of DORA, talking about the organizations that will be affected by DORA. And that Article 2 scope clearly states that is financial entities that will be affected by DORA. Article 2 also went further to list those financial entities. All right, I've discussed that in my earlier videos in this channel on DORA. So if you have not seen those videos, you could check, all right, in the channel. And also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. It's a very good opportunity to uh, acquire knowledge on standards, frameworks, best practices, all right, in the field of information security, IT auditing, governance risk and compliance, and other related areas. Okay, five pillars of DORA. Um, this is very important for those writing certification exams, for the implementers, for the auditors, for the compliance guys, for the regulators, all right, the competent authorities. All right, so these are the five pillars of DORA: information and intelligence sharing, ICT risk management, third-party risk management, incident reporting and response, then finally operational resilience testing. In previous videos, I've discussed ICT risk management as a pillar of DORA. I've also discussed incident reporting and response as a pillar of DORA. And so today I will be discussing operational resilience testing as a third pillar of DORA. All right. Just like we did in the video on the ICT risk reporting and response. And I want to start with definitions. I will help us to be able to appreciate what we have in this chapter of DORA. So we'll start with Article 3, Paragraph 1. Okay, that's where you have definitions in DORA, by the way, Article 3. Right, so it defines digital operational resilience as the ability of a financial entity to build, assure, and review. Right, that sounds like PDCA, right? Plan, do, check, act, or demi cycle. All right, so you have to plan, you have to do, that's build, you have to check, assure, and review. And of course, the act is continuous improvement. All right. So you have to build, assure, and review operational integrity and reliability by ensuring either directly or indirectly through the use of services provided by ICT third-party service providers, the full range of ICT-related capabilities needed to address the security of the network and information systems which a financial entity uses and which support the continued provision of financial services and their quality, including throughout disruptions. All right, so we got this from Article 3, right? Paragraph 1, the definition of DORA. All right, so it's an ability, all right? It's a reflection of the capability of a financial entity to be able to build a framework, a system for operational integrity, reliability. And not just to build, you need to be able to assure, you need to be able to review. All right. So I said this is very similar to PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act, or DEMI cycle. So you plan the digital operational resilience, you do, that is build the digital operational resilience. You check, that is the assure and review, the digital operational resilience. Then you act, you improve, all right, based on the fallouts, the findings of the assurance and review. Right, you have uh, findings that can be used to improve the operational, uh, digital operational resilience. I also see here, apart from Plan, Do, Check, Act, I also see responsibilities of the three lines of defense. I also see it here. So the three lines of defense. All right. So you have the first line, the management sets of internal controls that are designed and implemented by management. All right, as first line of defense. Second line of defense, all right, we have the risk management and compliance as second line of defense. The third line of defense, of course, we have the auditors, the assurance functions. So you can also see it here, all right, in the building, in the assuring, in the review. All right, so for example, you expect to see the risk managers and the compliance guys, all right, performing review functions, internal control guys performing the review functions. The risk managers also, they are also very important in making recommendations, right? They can make recommendations on what to build, how to build, all right, based on best practices. Then we can see the third line of defense, rather. Okay, the auditors. All right, we can see the auditors very very much involved in the assurance. All right, auditing the implementation, auditing the framework to determine how suitable it is. So it's a very robust definition of digital operational resilience. All right. So the definition also allows for you to be able to be responsible, all right, for your digital operational resilience end to end, or you can outsource it, all right, uh, to ICT third party service providers. Okay, and that is why you have another pillar, all right, which is third party ICT third party risk management. Okay, so it's a combo. The financial entities and their third party uh, ICT third party service providers must both parties, all right, must ensure digital operational resilience by building a framework, by providing assurance services and review services, all right, on the framework and systems that have been built. Great. So we also have definition of thread-led penetration testing. You will see this a lot in this chapter. All right. So I got this definition from Article 3, paragraph 17. All right. Thread-led penetration testing means a framework that mimics the tactics, the techniques, the procedures of real-life threat actors perceived as posing as genuine cyber threats that delivers a controlled, bespoke, intelligence-led or red team test of the financial entities' critical life production systems. So it simply means, so when you say trial penetration testing, so it's very synonymous to our VAPT, the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing that has been introduced by PCI DSS, introduced by ISO 27001 and NIST and other certifications or other frameworks and standards. So the key thing here is now, so look at the definitions. So it's not just you're just doing penetration testing. The penetration testing is controlled, is bespoke, all right? So bespoke means it's customized, right? So it's customized to the peculiarities, the size, the nature of that particular financial entity. Remember our Article 4, which is on Article 4 is on proportionality principle. So that's what that bespoke is talking about. So whatever pen testing you are going to conduct, you have to look at the peculiarities of that financial entity. Are they on the cloud? All right. Are they on the cloud or are they on premise? Okay. So there'll be some a little different the way you approach pen testing on the cloud versus pen testing on premise, where on premise probably you are controlling, you have direct control over every of your IT infrastructure, right? But if you go to the cloud, that is another another game, another different ball game entirely, all right? Uh, because it's not your environment, it's vendor managed. All right, so you need to come up with a bespoke arrangement for the penetration testing. It should be intelligence led. All right. So trend led penetration testing basically, all right, is talking about a controlled and customized intelligence led penetration testing. Okay, great. So those are two key definitions which we will keep on coming across as we look at this chapter 4 on digital operational resilience testing. And now, before we go on, I need to say this. Why are we testing, right? Why are we doing operational resilience testing? The reason we are testing is because you don't want to wait until, all right, the day of attack before you test, all right, how resilient your framework or your systems are. All right, you don't want to do that. That is too risky. That is too dangerous. Okay, so you do those tests now. Mimic an attacker. Mimic, all right, a black art. All right, a black art hacker. Okay, so use their tools, use their strategies. All right, try to use their mindset. All right, to attack, quote and unquote, defensively. Right, defensively attack your environment so that we can know we are vulnerable, all right, and deal with it immediately. So we have one, two, three, four. We have 4 articles under digital operational resilience testing, 24, general requirements for the performance of digital operational resilience testing, 25, testing of ICT tools and systems, 26, advanced testing of ICT tools, systems and processes based on TLPT. All right, then Article 27, requirement for testers for the carrying out of threat-led penetration testing. Those are the 4 articles. All right, we have here. Okay, so let's dive in into Article 24, which is general requirement for the performance of digital operational resilience testing. All right, I've tried to I've tried to highlight uh the I've tried to highlight the key points, all right, in these articles so that we'll be able to appreciate it better. Okay. Article 24, paragraph 1. What does it say? All right, so for the purpose of assessing preparedness for any ICT-related incidents, of identifying weaknesses, deficiencies, and gaps in digital operational resilience, and of promptly implementing corrective measures, financial entities other than micro-enterprises shall take into account the criteria set out in Article 4, paragraph 2. Remember, that is proportionality, right? Proportionality principle. That's Article 4. All right. Establish, maintain, and review a sound and comprehensive digital operational resilience testing program as an integral part of the ICT risk management framework. Refer to it in Article 6. So that is basically saying here that financial entities, apart from micro enterprises, all right, will look at the proportionality principle while they are conducting their uh, thread-led penetration testing. Okay, so they need to be able to create scenarios that will help them to identify weaknesses in the ability to prevent and respond to incidents. They be able to create, they need to create scenarios to test the deficiencies in the system and framework, the gaps in the digital operational resilience. All right, so this is basically what Article 1 is saying. All right, use the principle of proportionality to be able to create a trailer penetration testing that will help you to be able to have an overall view of your ability to actually be digitally operationally resilient. Okay, so that's that on Article 1. All right, that's that on Article 1. So let's look at what Article 2 says. Article 2 of, Article 24 rather, of paragraph 2 rather. So Article 24, paragraph 2. All right. So the good thing about this regulation is that you become a lawyer. All right. So you have to learn how to put like a lawyer, Article 24, paragraph 2, subsection this, so paragraph this. Okay. So it's cool. It's cool. It's very interesting, even though for non-lawyers it could be challenging, all right, and that's why we are here to simplify it so that we can appreciate it better. All right, so Article 24, paragraph 2. What does he say? The digital operational resilience testing program shall include a range of assessments, tests, methodologies, practices, and tools to be applied in accordance with Article 25 and 26. So Article 24, paragraph 2 is simply saying uh, what, what makes up a threat-led penetration testing? That's what that is saying. So when you are doing your threat-led penetration testing, you should be looking at assessment, vulnerability assessment, for example, tests you carry out, methodologies you used, practices, all right, you deploy, and tools you also deploy in the course of the TLPT. Okay, so let's look at paragraph 3 of Article 24. What does it say? When conducting a digital operational resilience testing program, refer to in paragraph 1 of this Article 24. Financial entities other than micro enterprises shall follow a risk-based approach, taking into account the criteria set out in Article 4, paragraph 2. All right, so risk-based is also coming here also. So risk-based approach. So they're saying look at your context, all right? Look at the size of the organization, the nature of the organization, specific regulation applicable, all right, internal context, external context. All right, so based on that context of the organization, come up with a risk-based approach to your threat-led penetration testing. That is what uh, paragraph 3 of Article 24 is talking about. Paragraph 4, all right, of Article 24 says financial entities other than micro enterprises shall ensure that tests are undertaken by independent parties, whether internal or external. This is very key. So, because without the independence of those testers, all right, all right, the reports will not be valid. So if you are using external external testers, you need to be able to demonstrate that they are independent. If we are using internal testers, you need to be able to also demonstrate that they are independent. Very, very key. All right. Of course, we all know that external testers will be more independent than the internal testers. All right. So that's why both is actually encouraged. All right. So you have the internal testing, all right, being uh, corroborated, all right, by the external testing. Okay. So where tests are undertaken by internal testers, financial entities shall dedicate sufficient resources and ensure that conflicts of interest are avoided throughout the design and execution phases of the test. So the regulation is already, is taking into cognizance, all right, the challenges that an internal tester might face. All right. Management may say there's no budget, all right, for the testing. All right. Another thing is, is the conflict of interest. So the tester is working in a department that is reporting to the people that he or she is going to test. Becomes a problem. So we've had situation in many organizations. Internal testing will be done by financial by information security, and information security is reporting to the head of IT. All right. And so it becomes a challenge. It becomes a challenge for the testers in information security because what their findings, all right, might not sit well, all right, with the head of IT that they are reporting to. So the organizational structure of the organization, all right, is very important. The reporting lines, and that's what Article 4 Article 24, paragraph 4 is emphasizing, especially for the internal testers. All right. Let's look at Article 24, Paragraph 5. Financial entities other than micro enterprises shall establish procedures and policies to prioritize, classify, and remedy all issues revealed throughout the performance of the test, and shall establish internal validation methodologies to ascertain that all identified weaknesses, deficiencies, or gaps are fully addressed. So what this is saying is that it's not just, have we done VPT? Yes, we have done it. Have we done trailer penetration testing? Yes, we have done it. Now, what is the aftermath? Where are the findings? All right, or what are the findings? What are the follow up that have been done on the findings? The findings, of course, most of these reports will come up will be produced with the rankings, priority ranking, ideally anyway. Ideally, when you are looking at the penetration test report, the finding should come up with ranking. Okay, this finding is low, this finding is medium, this finding is critical. All right, so we should be able to isolate all the critical findings in the trailer penetration test report. That is what this Article 24, Paragraph 5 is saying. And beyond that, we should be able to also track what has been done to close those deficiencies. All right, that is what we have here in Paragraph 5 of Article 24. Okay, Paragraph C of Article 24. It says financial entities other than micro enterprises shall ensure at least yearly the appropriate tests are conducted on all ICT systems and applications supporting critical or important functions. So now this is now saying, right, if your organization is not a macro enterprise, all right, then that means your TLPT must be done at least once a year. So it's talking about frequency. So you need to be able to supply a trailer penetration test report every year, especially if your financial entity is not a micro enterprise. So this is very clear on the frequency of trailer penetration testing for financial entities. Once a year, at least. Once a year, at least. All right, so that is Article 24. Then we have Article 25. Okay, testing of ICT tools and systems. So we have paragraph 1 of Article 25. The Digital Operational Resilience Testing Program referred to in Article 24 shall provide in accordance with the criteria set out in Article 4, paragraph 2 for the execution of appropriate tests such as now. So we now see another list of tests which you can do in your trailer penetration testing. This is what this is also listing out. So we have vulnerability assessment and scans. So you can take note of that. Open source analysis, network security assessment, gap analysis, physical security reviews, questionnaires and scanning software solutions, source code reviews where feasible, scenario-based tests, compatibility testing, performance testing, end-to-end testing, and penetration testing. So you see, those are the lists of possible tests you can execute during your trade-led penetration testing. So that is what paragraph 1 of Article 25 has listed out for us. Okay, so paragraph 2 of Article 25 specifically, all right, for central security depositories and central counterparties, all right, which are also listed in Article 2 scope of DORA. All right, so Central Security Depository and Central Counterparts shall perform vulnerability assessment before any deployment or redeployment of new existing applications and infrastructure components and ICT services supporting critical or important functions of the financial entity. So cutovers, so before cutovers and after cutovers, Central Security Depositories must do a vulnerability assessment. That is what, when you change your software, key critical software, before changing and after changing, all right, you need to do a vulnerability assessment. So this is what the paragraph 2 of Article 25 is saying. So before any deployment or redeployment of new existing applications and infrastructure component, IT services supporting critical important functions of the financial entity must be assessed, especially if you are central security depository and central counterparties. All right, so specifically paragraph 2 of Article 25 straight. All right, paragraph 3 of Article 25. What does it say? This is one is for micro enterprises. All right, so micro enterprises shall perform the test referred to in paragraph 1 by combining a risk-based approach with a strategic planning of ICT testing. So micro enterprises are not, 100% excluded from doing TLPT. All right. What they are saying is that their own approach also, all right, so they need to look at the specific context of the organization. So use risk-based approach, all right, and employ strategic planning when you are testing your for digital operational resilience. That is for micro enterprises, paragraph 3, Article 25. Okay. Article 26, advanced testing of ICT tools, systems, and processes based on thread penetration testing. All right, Article 26, paragraph 1. Financial entities other than entities referred to in Article 16, paragraph 1, first subparagraph, and other than micro enterprises, which are identified in accordance with paragraph 8, third subparagraph of this article, shall carry out at least every 3 years advanced testing by means of thread penetration testing. Every 3 years at least. Now, what are those financial entities other than entities referred to in Article 16, paragraph 1? All right, so you have to look at, so you have to go back to that Article 16, paragraph 1 and look at the financial entities that are referred to there. So the financial entities referred to in Article 16, paragraph 1 are: one, small and non-interconnected investment firms. Two, payment institutions exempted pursuant to Directive EU 2015/2366. Institutions exempted pursuant to Directive 2013/36/EU, in respect of which member states have decided not to apply the option referred to in Article 2, paragraph 4. All right. Next, electronic money institutions exempted pursuant to Directive 2009/110/EC. Then finally, small institutions for occupational retirement provisions. So these are the financial entities referred to in Article 16, paragraph 1. So we can come back here. So financial entities other than these listed entities here, all right, shall carry out at least every 3 years advanced testing by means of thread-led penetration testing, at least once every 3 years. Okay, next, based on the risk profile of the financial entities and taking into account operational circumstances, the competent authority may, where necessary, request the financial entity to reduce or increase its frequency. So, depending on what is happening within an organization, what that is saying that the competent authority has every right to say, okay, you can, okay, be doing the TLPT once every 5 years, or be doing the TLPT once, advanced TLPT, okay, be doing it in once in 2 years. So the competent authorities still have the powers based on the specific context of the financial entity to determine the frequency of the advanced testing by means of thread-led penetration testing. Okay, so that's what paragraph 1 of Article 26 is saying. All right, paragraph 2 of Article 26, advanced testing of ICT tools. All right, each thread-led penetration test shall cover several or all critical or important functions of a financial entity and shall be performed on live production systems supporting such functions. Okay. So you can't say, okay, hey, testers, we don't want you to disrupt our operations. Of course, that point is valid. But some organization will ask, okay, we don't want you to disrupt operations, so you will perform your test in our test environment. So that's us, that is not going to give us the idea of what can happen in the production environment. All right. So we can simulate, of course, in the test environment, but it will not give us the real, or the real likelihood and impact of all these attacks in the production environment. So paragraph 2 says your pen testing must cover all critical functions of the financial entity and must be performed in the live production environment. Okay, the next line says financial entities shall identify all relevant underlying ICT systems, processes, and technologies supporting critical or important functions and ICT services Wow, that's sounding like BIA, right? Business impact analysis. So if you look at that very well, so you are looking at asset inventory, you are looking at BIA, business impact analysis. You can use those two to meet the requirements saying financial entity should identify all relevant underlying ICT system processes and technology supporting critical important function and ICT services, including those supporting the critical important function which have been outsourced or contracted to ICT third-party service provider. So even your critical processes in the hands of a third party, all right, are not exempted. That is what this paragraph 2 of Article 26 is talking about. All right, financial institutions shall assess which critical or important functions need to be covered by the trailing penetration testing. The result of this assessment shall determine the precise scope of the TLPT and shall be validated by the competent authorities. Great. All right. Now, paragraph 3 of Article 26, where ICT third-party service providers are included in the scope of TLPT. So if you are going to, include your vendors in the TLPT, the financial entity shall take necessary measures and safeguards to ensure the participation of such ICT third-party service providers in the TLPT and shall retain at all times full responsibility for ensuring compliance with this regulation. Now, when you want to do a TLPT that is going to involve your vendors, things become more complicated. All right. So for me, I would advise that the SLAs, the contracts with these third-party service providers need to be updated so that they are going to be aware, all right, that if need be, they might need to work with you, all right, when you are performing a trailer penetration testing. So that is very, very key now that the SLA service level agreements with the vendors need to have that that clause to notify them that they might need to they might be called upon to participate in a trailer penetration testing. All right, as vendors for especially the critical vendors. All right. Then Paragraph 4. See, without prejudice to paragraph 2, first and second subparagraphs, where the participation of an ICT third-party service provider in the TLPT, all right, referred to in paragraph 3, is reasonably expected to have an adverse effect on the quality or security of services delivered by the ICT third-party service provider to customers and their entities falling outside the scope of this regulation or on the confidentiality of the data related for such services, the financial entity and the ICT third-party service provider may agree in writing that the ICT third-party service provider directly enters into contractual arrangements with an external tester for the purpose of conducting, under the direction of one designated financial entity, a pool TLPT involving several financial entities. That's what is called pool testing. Please take note for those that are writing certification exams on DORA. So you have pool testing to which the ICT third-party service provider provide IT services. So let's assume you have a key vendor that is providing, all right, ICT services, maybe to like 30 financial entities. It might be very complicated. Not even it might, it will be very complicated. All right. A is calling them, let's do a joint TLPT. So you are through with that. The second week, and B calls them, what we have to do a joint TLPT. All right. A month after that, all right, C calls them. So if care is not taken for those kind of vendors, they will do TLPT all year round. All right, January to December. So when will they work? That is what this paragraph 4, that's the kind of scenario that this paragraph 4 is foreseeing. Actually, that is the kind of scenario it's foreseeing. And that's why it's now saying, okay, why don't you, instead of you, all right, you answer A, you answer B, you answer C, you answer D, you answer E, F, G. All right, why don't you pull all uh, the financial services or financial entities into one? All right, so that we can have, a single external tester with a single vendor, then all the financial entities that vendor is providing service for, we can do the TLPT once and for all. Very wonderful. So this is what Article 26 paragraph 4 is saying. So it is providing for pool testing, all right, for a vendor, especially that has several financial entities they are providing service for. So instead of, all right, complicating things, all right, doing TLPT, joint TLPT with each one of them, we can pool all the financial entities together and do the TLPT once and for all. Great, just wonderful provision, wonderful provision. All right, so that pool testing shall cover the relevant range of ICT services supporting critical or important functions contracted to the respective ICT third-party service provider by the financial entities. The pool testing shall be considered TLPT carried out by the financial entity participating in the pool test. So they don't need to. So once you do pool testing, all right, you don't need to do another one. That's what they're saying, all right? So once you have done that pool, you are a participant in the pool testing. That goes for you, all right, for that particular period, reporting period. So the number of financial entities participating in pool testing shall be duly calibrated, taking into account the complexity and types of services involved. So also, there has to be a limit also to the number of participants that can do the pool testing, obviously. All right. All right. The more the numbers, the more complex, the more the risks, all right, that will be involved. So you also need to look at that, looking at the proportionality principle, Article 4. All right. So 26, Article 26, paragraph 5, financial entities shall, with the cooperation of ICT third-party service providers and other parties involved, including the testers, but excluding the competent authorities, apply effective risk management controls to mitigate the risk of any potential impact on data, damage to assets, and disruption to critical important functions, services, or operations at the financial entity itself, is counterpart or to the financial sector. So it's not say because you are doing TLPT, all right, people can work. Again, the network is down or data is corrupted. The database has been brought down. It's not coming up again. The server has been, grounded. Denial of service is happening. All right. The tools they are using is degrading performance. So all those things, of course, so experienced testers, all right, are needed. So you have to look at the risks of using these tools. All right. So these tools that will be used, all right. You need to look at the pros and the cons of which of those tools, all right, in advance before using them. So that is what Article 26, paragraph 5 is saying. Don't say you are doing TLPT, then you bring down the network or you bring down, all right, you bring down cause serious damage to financial entities and the other businesses depending on them. Okay, so be careful, be careful. That's what Article 26, paragraph 5 is talking about. All right, paragraph 6 of Article 26 is saying, at the end of the testing, after reports and remediation plans have been agreed, the financial entity and where applicable, the external tester shall provide to the authority designated in accordance with paragraph 9 or 10 a summary of the relevant findings, remediation plans, and the documentation demonstrating that the TLPT has been conducted in accordance with the requirements. So you can't keep the reports just only in-house. That's what this is saying. You need to provide a summary of the TLPT report, all right, to the competent authority in that member state. That's what paragraph 6 is talking about. Paragraph 7, authority shall provide financial entities with an attestation confirming that the test was performed in accordance with the requirement as evidence in the documentation in order to allow for mutual recognition of true penetration tests between competent authorities. The financial entity shall notify the relevant authority of the attestation, the summary of the relevant findings, and the remediation plan. So what that is saying, paragraph 7 is basically saying that the summaries of the TLPT, all right, the summary of the findings, all right, remediation plan and everything, all right, will be sent to the competent authority. The competent authority to must acknowledge, must attest after they've received those documents and they've reviewed the TLPT, all right, and so they need to be able to write back to the financial entity that yes, we got the TLPT report and the TLPT report is in order. That is what paragraph 7 is saying. Without prejudice to such attestation, financial entity shall remain at all times fully responsible for the impact of the test referred to. Okay, so like you said before, you cannot use tests. Okay, you can't use tests to bring down your operations, degree performance. So financial entities should remember that they are fully responsible, they are fully accountable for the impact of the test they carry out. Okay. Paragraph 8 of Article 26, financial entities shall contract testers for the purposes of undertaking trade pension test in accordance with Article 27. When financial entities use internal testers for the purpose of undertaking TLPT, they shall contract external testers, all right, every 3 tests. Every 3 tests. Like we've said that, normally you're expected to do this test once a year. All right. So if you are using, if no, like I said earlier, it's best to use a mix of internal tester and external testers. But now because the external testers, of course, are more independent, basically because of normal reporting lines and things like that. Now we all know that basically. Now, but the regulation is saying that it's okay if you want to use strictly internal testers, is okay, fine. Use internal testers, your first test, all right, your second test, but man, the third test, you cannot use internal testers. You must bring in external testers for your third test in case you are using strictly internal testers. This is very important, especially for those that are writing exams. All right, this is a very good area that examiners can play with. All right. So you can use internal testers, all right, is okay. But the third test, you must use external testers. Okay, credit institutions that are classified as significant in accordance with Article 6, Paragraph 4 of Regulation EU number 1024/2013 shall only use external testers in accordance with Article 27, Paragraph 1, point A to E. Wonderful. So if your credit institutions is classified as significant, it means you don't have a choice. All right. So what we said earlier that you can use internal tester first years, first test, second test, then use external tester, third test. It doesn't apply to credit institutions that are significant, that as far as significant, they must use external testers. All right. That does not stop them from using internal testers, all right. But what this is practically saying that they must compulsorily use external testers, all right, at least for the purpose of reporting for DORA, all right. Internally, they can still be using internal testers, all right, internally, all right. But for DORA reports, all right, DORA compliance reports, such organization must submit external tester reports. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, paragraph 9. Member states may designate a single public authority in the financial sector to be responsible for TLPT-related matters in the financial sector at national level and shall entrust it with all competencies and tasks to that effect. So what you say, every member state in the EU can determine who the competent authority should be, all right, that will be managing the reports of these TLPT tests. All right, so Article 27, requirement for testers for the carrying out of TLPT. All right, can just anybody perform the test? All right, no. And this is what Article 27 is talking about. Paragraph 1 says financial entities shall only use testers for the carrying out of TLPT, which are of the highest suitability and reputability. So the suitability of the tester organization must be proven, the reputation must be proven. All right, possess technical and organizational capabilities and demonstrate specific expertise in threat intelligence, penetration testing, and red team testing. So you need to be able to provide evidence of capabilities, all right, for those testers, all right, certifications, years of experience, all right, um, presentations made, right, books written, and so on. So there are several ways, of course, to prove these capabilities. Okay, as certified by an accreditation body in the member state or adhere to formal codes of conduct or ethical framework. So you see certification now. So we need to have, uh, certifications, all right, proving, so licensed penetration tester, all right, also on easy counsel certifications, all right, as so on. So there are many of these CEA, certified ethical hacker, and the rest. So all those certifications must be there to confirm the ability of the tester, provide an independent assurance or an audit report in relation to the sound management of risk associated with the carrying out of TLPT, including the due protection of financial entities' confidential information and redress for the business risk of the financial entity. So NDA. So this is very important. Non-disclosure agreement must be signed by the testers to confirm that, to assure that they are not going to disclose any findings, all right, to unauthorized third party, and also the independence, all right, of the testers must also be verifiable. All right, ideally are fully covered by the relevant professional indemnity insurances, including against risk of misconduct and negligence. So we have normally we have a professional indemnity insurance, all right, PII for audit firms and consulting organizations. So of course, like we said, pension testing could be very risky. Things could go wrong. So they need to have insurance or a professional indemnity insurance to cover against such. Okay, so that is also another requirement for the pen testing organizations. Okay, Paragraph 2, Article 27. When using internal testers, we've said it is possible you can use internal testers. All right. Financial entities shall ensure that in addition to the requirement in paragraph 1, the following conditions are met. Each such use has been approved by the relevant competent authority or by the single public authority designated in accordance with Article 26, paragraph 9 and 10. So if you are going to be using internal testers, you need to get approval, all right, for that from the competent authority. The relevant competent authority has verified that the financial entity has sufficient dedicated resources and ensure that the conflicts of interest are avoided throughout the design and execution phases of the test. So which means the competent authority must be satisfied that the internal testers are well funded, they have the resources, they have the tools, and that they are fully independent. Okay. So then also that the threat intelligence provider is external to the financial entity. So if you are going to be using internal testers, the threat intelligence provider, all right, must be external to that financial entity. Okay, so that is what this is saying. So it's also to balance the independence and to ensure that there's no conflict of interest. So threat intelligence provider must be external to the financial entity. All right, paragraph 3 of Article 27, financial entities shall ensure that contracts concluded with external testers require a sound management of TLPT results. We'll talk about that. All right, the result must be seriously managed. They are this high level confidential information, and that any data processing thereof, including any generation, store, aggregation, draft, report, communication, or destruction do not create risks to the financial entity. So they need to sign NDA. And beyond signing NDA, they need to be able to demonstrate that that information they are going to generate on behalf of the financial entities, all right, uh, will not be compromised or will not be shared with unauthorized third parties. Very important, very important. Okay, wonderful. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this presentation on the digital operational resilience testing. I hope you have enjoyed this particular presentation. I hope you have learned one or two things. We've talked about Article 24, we've talked about 25, 26, and Article 27. All right. So if you have questions on this presentation, please, I want you to drop a comment, ask your question. I'll be able to respond to this question within 24 hours. I'll be able to answer your question on the Digital Operational Resilience Act. All right, so thank you so much for your time. See you in the next production. Thank you.